Well, hello, you. We are back at last. Welcome to Adopted Geordies. We've been away a little while, and there's a key reason for this, and that is that the captain himself, Mr. Rob Lee, said to me, Andy, listen, there's no way we can do a show until I've seen Wissa and Voltemada play together. Well, that has happened at last. It's just the wait was longer than we expected. We didn't know he was going to get injured. We didn't know they might not function as a pair. However, here we are. We have returned. We got to say a couple of things that we haven't said ever before on shows before. Firstly, thank you for choosing us. Please regularly choose us. Like, subscribe, follow us on all the socials, etc. Secondly, let's do this. Rob Lee is in the house. And Rob, I'm delighted to say we have added to the bench now, haven't we? We have bolstered our format. We no longer have just guests. We have new co-hosts.
We do. Looking forward to it, yeah.
One of them is in the studio right now. The other is currently on a plane, and we will hopefully hear from her in a moment. But it gives me absolute joy to welcome the man himself. He calls himself the Newcastle Brown Male. I call him Raul. It's Mr. Raul Kohli. How are you, superstar?
Hello, Andy. Hello, Rob. I am absolutely delighted to be a part of this podcast. Thank you so much for having me. I do call myself the Newcastle Brown Male, not my only nickname. There's also Sausage Raul, your canny Uncle Raj, and the second most famous Raul from Tyneside. Let's see if they include that in the edit. Some of you may be watching this at home thinking, wow, Asim's lost his girth. No, that's not me. I'm a stand-up comedian from Newcastle upon Tyne, NUFC superfan, and Northeast history buff. And I'm delighted to be adding what I can to this podcast. Thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you for having us.
We're so excited to have you here, Raul. And one of the things that I think is worth people immediately noticing is that you are finally going to be able to have a Geordie accent on the show that's a real one. It's not Rob and I trying our hardest to sound like we know what we're talking about. We actually have a voice of the Northeast in the studio.
I don't know. I don't think he puts it on. I heard him outside, honestly. It's like Cockney as anything, honestly.
I tell you what, when I go abroad, people are like, what dialect of Punjabi is this? I've never heard this accent before in my life.
Well, Raul, one of the things that you're going to be doing for us, and we'll get onto this properly later on, is you're about to set off on a worldwide adventure. As a stand-up comedian, you have this incredible life which involves you talking to fans all over the world, fans of yours, I mean. You're actually also going to be linking up with fans from Newcastle from across the globe.
It does. I mean, you've bigged it up more than it is usually. I must be honest. Like, I mean, most weekends it's me in, Wigan, Bolton, Kilmarnock, all the wonders of the north. But I'm very, very fortunate. Over the next 3 months, I'll be travelling to Australia to do a series of fringe festivals there. I'll be doing the Perth Fringe World. I'll be doing the Adelaide Fringe, where I watched us win the Carabao Cup last year. And I'll be doing the Melbourne Comedy Festival. And I'm a huge fan of finding adopted Geordies all around the world. Either people, exiles who've moved away, or people who just for no apparent reason or weird reasons have decided to follow Newcastle United from abroad, because it's definitely not success. So in Perth, I'll be linking up with the Perth Toon Army as I did last year. And they've got a huge outfit. About 500 members were there watching the Bournemouth game last season. So I'll be linking up with them again. I'll be linking up with the Adelaide Toon Army and the Melbourne Toon Army. And I'm very much looking forward to bringing you their adventures back to this podcast.
I can't wait to see that. So if you are a member of any of those respective armies and you fancy being featured on Adopted Geordies, just look out for this man, and hopefully we can get you on and hear from you what it's like watching at what o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. sort of thing for a kickoff, isn't it, over there?
Yeah, it's very tiring. Very, very tiring. I was up till about 6 a.m. and that was just a full time when we won the Carabao Cup in a hotel in the middle of nowhere in Adelaide. Everybody else was fast asleep. The worst was the bus parade. That was a real lonely, because they didn't show the bus parade, weirdly enough, in hotels at 6 a.m, but everybody was, everyone I knew, my mum, my dad, my little cousins, my nieces, my nephews, all of my friends were there at that bus parade, and I was just alone sipping this lemon and ginger tea at 7 a.m. in Melbourne.
Waving to a bus.
Yeah, waving to the buses outside, trying to pretend, trying to cosplay being there.
So it's going to be a good omen then if you're out there again for the Carabao Cup final this year.
That's one way of putting it up.
If we get there.
Yeah, we should give you a timeline. We are recording this. You're likely to see this probably about a week after we record this. So as things stand, the situation with Newcastle right now is we are still in everything. We're doing all right in the Premier League. We're still in all the cups. We're still in the Champions League. We are due to play Manchester City in the first round of the Carabao Cup, the two-legged fun that we have with Manchester City. We're playing that tonight. So by the time you watch this, there will already be a result on that, but there is a second leg to play at their place. No idea if we are heavily in the lead, on a draw, or chasing a deficit. And you will have also seen us take on Wolves in the Premier League, which we may or may not have won. Because as we record...
We don't win that. We are in trouble.
That's the only easy game we have till the 25th of May, as far as I'm concerned.
They say there's no easy games.
Well, look, let's have a look at that then. Let's assess this now. I was going to go into one of the things we like to talk to people about is why Newcastle, why have they got into it? But it's pretty obvious with Raul. I mean, you didn't have a lot of choice, right?
No, I mean, I've always said I've supported since I left the womb, and I have. If you go on my website, there's a picture of me. I must be about a year old or something, and I'm in a Newcastle United shirt. It's won a couple of seasons before that one. No sponsor, but I mean, my mum was a diehard fan. I've got surrogate grandparents who were Geordie born and raised. Who my granddad fought in the war. Grandma Joyce built the tanks in Catterick, and they were diehard supporters. Although my grandma said she stopped watching after Keegan was a player because that's when it became, not a sport for real men. That's how she saw it. When all the diving came in, she wasn't really a fan. But they were all diehard. My uncles were diehard, and it's just been passed down to me. And there was no choice. Absolutely.
Quite right too. That's the same with me, except I was obviously raised down south. So, big difference geographically, but the same but different. At least you were surrounded by other people supporting the club, whereas I did not have that.
So what age were you with the entertainers then? What age were you?
I would have been a teenager for the entertainers.
Well, that's a big scope, isn't it? I mean, what are you, 13 or 19?
Well, mate, I can't really remember. My maths is shocking.
What about you, Raul?
I was about 4 to 6 years old.
You don't even remember us at all, do you, honestly?
No, I remember. My mum had a crush on Keegan. I remember that much. She had a crush on Keegan and Ginola, and that's about as much as I remember.
Yeah, everyone had a crush on Ginola.
Let me try and do the maths, Rob. So I'm 77. As in, no, you're actually 77. I was born in 77.
Oh, the old jokes are coming in, are they?
Well, the old ones are the best, which is why you volunteer in a nursing home. So, it's never a bad thing. Anyway, look, before we get onto that, let's actually do a bit of a roundup of where we're at with the season so far. We don't necessarily have to give it a mark out of 10, but it's been a really strange season by our standards. We've known previous to this, the last couple of seasons, under Eddie has very much been intensity is our identity. Now it feels like chaos is our identity, or if you're going on current games, extra time is our identity. So, guys, just give us a sort of summary of where you think we're at, what we're doing well, what's not working, how happy are you with where we're at? Rob, what's your overview at the moment?
Listen, I heard a few mumblings and grumblings from fans recently, and as you said before, you look at where we're in the fourth round of the FA Cup, we're in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, we're 6th in the league, and we should qualify for Champions League. So I think that's been. If you'd have asked us at the start of the season where we'll be in January, and every competition we're in, I think we've done amazing. Listen, some of the games that we've been played, especially away ones in London, have been poor, but we are where we are. We're sort of like we're sitting 6th in the league now, and I love the way we're playing. Eddie probably won't like it because Eddie's very sort of like we don't let goals in and all that sort of thing. So he must be pulling his hair out, but I'm from the entertainers, 4-3s and extra times and all that. That I love it. I mean, that's. Keegan always said to me, "Listen, football's an entertainment," and I think if anything of our team, that what we've lacked is entertainment. Goals. How many goals have gone in at St James's Park in the last 4 or 5 games?
Yeah, but not all of them has been scored by us. That's been the trouble.
As Keegan said, we'll just score more than you. We haven't lost any of the games. So
no, you're right. Listen, I love it, Rob. I hear what you're saying. Tell us about what it's like from a player's perspective then, because we have seen games. I mean, let's talk about, I don't know, the 4-3 comeback that was so tense and so frightening, and we went behind 3 times to end up winning it. You in your playing days also went behind several times to then go and win it. What's it like on the field when there's not much time left and you are trailing? What's going through your mind?
Well, I think certainly when I was playing, I remember a game against Leicester. I think we were 3-1 down with, I don't know, 5 minutes to go. Alan got a hat-trick. He scored from a yard out, make it 4-3. And we'd done that regular, but I think you look around at your team, and I used to look around at our team, and I think even if we had a goal, 2 goals down, look around and, we had Ginola, we had Espria, Alan, Peter Beardsley, Keith Gillespie, all these people could score goals, and you think, I need a second to score a goal, do you know what I mean? And I think that's what we've lacked. This team, the only thing that's lacked is goals. We haven't got somebody who scores. I mean, Harvey Barnes has been I
He's on
always say
fire,
when
isn't he?
Harvey Barnes he's our best winger. Not Anthony Gordon's much more exciting than him when he's on form, but Anthony Gordon is always a 7, 8 out of 10. He scores goals and he's a great finisher. And I think he's proven that now. But we just lack somebody. Hopefully Whistle will do it. That's your Alan Shearer, your Les Ferdinand, your Andy Cole, who's going to get us 20, 25 goals.
Well, put us on the pitch in your mindset then, Rob. Who's the equivalent of you in this current team? It's probably Bruno. Would you say most stylistically?
Most. Some people say Tonali, some people say Bruno.
Well, that's just because you fancy Tonali. That's you want to you want to be likened to him because he's a handsome man. But in terms of your playing style,
I do like a handsome man.
Yeah. There's the advert for the pod. I think we'll clip that one up. Welcome back to Adopted Geordies. We're on the confession couch with Rob Lee, who does like a handsome man. That's why we've sat him next to Raul Kohli, and I'm slightly further away from them.
First, I'd be looking for, are you handsome enough to get in my team? That's my first criteria, without a doubt.
Did you just spend most of your time in the locker room just following Ginola around?
Like a puppy dog.
And who could blame him? I mean,
I wasn't the only one.
But all right, there's a combination of you're either Bruno or Tonali or whoever. But the point is, you're on the ball. You're looking across the pitch at the players that we have at the moment. You've mentioned Gordon. You've mentioned Harvey Barnes, Wissa, Voltemada. Who are you excited about? Who you think this one's going to win the game for me? Because you used to look at Ginola, Shearer and so on. Pedro, they're winning the game for you because of what they can do. Who is Bruno Tonali looking at going, if I ping it to him, he's getting me a goal?
Well, at the moment, it's Harvey Barnes. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's the one that's scoring goals. He's creating things. But we hope now Wissa's back. It's been a long time coming. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully he's the man now. It's going to, because as well as Nick Volden has done up front, I think everyone knows he's not, even by his own admission, he's probably the tallest number 10 I've ever seen, but he doesn't play as a centre forward. He can do, but I don't think he likes it there. So it'd be interesting to see how Eddie gets them both in his team, because that's what Keegan would do.
It is. Well, Raul, we saw a glimpse of it, didn't we? We saw the two of them playing together in the cup. It was an interesting one. Voltemada basically played his same role, which is dropping much deeper than you'd expect from a goal scorer. Wissa and the connection didn't quite work for me yet, but it's very new. He had sort of better moments with Barnes, in my view.
Yeah, it's very new, and I think Wissa's still finding his full form. I think it brought the best out of Voltemada. I think if you look at the stats at the end of the game, he had something like 64 touches. 64 touches, was that it? Yeah. And I think that blows any other amount of touches he's got in the game, in a game, out the water. So it clearly brought the best out of him. He should be playing a bit deeper. I think Wissa's just, he's still kind of reaching full match fitness, but we can see what he can do. He had a couple of big chances at the start and then nothing quite much. I don't think it was his best game, but I think with time, that's going to be a real mean strike partnership. But I think it has brought the best out of Voltemada and clearly brought the best out of Barnes again as well, who's becoming amazing. But I think it'll take a bit of time, but I think I can see why Eddie doesn't kind of want to start with those two, because we're already got a bit of an industry crisis looming. Yeah. And if you lose them two, then who's up top?
Yeah, because what's happened to Osula? We've not really heard about this injury that's kept him out for the last 3 months. Is he injured? What's going on?
What's happened to Lascelles?
Well, yeah.
He signed a new contract and
I think he was just there to kick off on the sidelines. He's been booked so many times from the bench now. I think that's his role.
We've got serving for his yellow band.
Why is he not involved?
Some people get signed for character more than their ability.
I can't believe people haven't asked where he is and what's he doing. We signed a 1-year contract when we're struggling with centre halves, with Dan Burn being out and Shah being out. And he's nowhere to be seen. So again, same as us. Where is he? What's the situation with him, do you know?
What's going on? Well, listen, that's you've reminded me of something, Rob. Thank you for that.
I always do.
Happy to signpost this. Really delighted to tell you that in a forthcoming episode of Adopted Geordies, in the not too distant future, we will be sitting down with our tallest ever central defender, Mr. Dan Burn. The club, I'm delighted to tell you, have agreed to let Dan join us for a special exclusive episode with the man himself. That's going to be a good one, isn't it? It's tidy.
It will be a good one. Yeah, that's the man that took my last man to score a goal at Wembley, so I'm not pleased with him anyway, but
what a goal though.
We'll have him
what
on.
A goal.
We'll have him on. Hey,
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't as good as my header.
Stats are there to be broken, Rob. Come on, that's what it's for.
No, I was very pleased when he did it.
Adopted Geordies, the only NUFC podcast with a comedian, 2 NUFC captains, and technically speaking, a Disney superhero. Like and subscribe.
Raul, obviously, we've heard Rob's kind of overview. He's broadly happy with how the season's going, and it's partly because he clearly likes the madness of, conceding goals to then have to score. From your perspective, you go to most of the games yourself. Where's your head at as a fan? Are you really happy or not quite so happy?
I'm pretty delighted all in all. I mean, I sometimes self-harm, by which I mean I spend a lot of time on Twitter, and I think that can sometimes give you a false reality of what you should expect. I mean, we have lost to some what you might consider, with all respect, mid-table clubs this season, but like if we had beaten all of those teams we thought we should have beaten, we'd be competing for the title.
Yeah.
This season behind the scenes and beforehand has been a little bit of chaos, and we've needed to steady the ship. Do you know? And we only recently just got in a sporting director. Obviously, there was the whole debacle with he who shall not be named. There was getting.
Yeah, I can't even remember what position he played. He was on this show with us at one point. The guy that you're talking about. He came on and clearly loved the club. We haven't had our say about his departure. Let's not, shall we?
No, let's just leave it where it is, shall we? We're doing all right without him, and Liverpool are not doing great with him. So
Who?
I just
we can mention
reinforce
Liverpool.
how good Dan Burns' winner was when he took your mantle of last goal at Wembley, scored by a Newcastle United
Were you too
player.
young to see my goal at Wembley?
Sorry?
Were you too young to see my goal at Wembley?
I watched it on YouTube.
Oh, it's all right.
Grainy footage on the VHS.
The thing is, Rob, you talk about that goal like it was some sort of trophy thing. We didn't win that game.
I don't remember that.
We ended up losing
Can
the
I
game.
say my video goes off as soon as I score? That's it. It's a 1-1 draw.
All right, fair enough. Well, actually, Rob, tell us about the perspective for you, because as we head in, I've mentioned where we're at in the league and what's happening and so on. Tonight we play Manchester City. Now, as things stood, we had to get through an ordeal against Bournemouth. It was a long game. There was a lot of extra time. Then there were the sort of emotions of penalties, the stress and so on. Meanwhile, Manchester City were having it on easy street, scoring 10 past Exeter, I think it was. I think they would have happily blown the whistle at 45 minutes where they were however many nil up anyway. So they were kind of cruising. So you've got all these people in advance, particularly on Twitter, saying, "Oh, it's a mismatch. We're going to be exhausted. Our players are mentally fatigued. They're emotionally fatigued. They are physically shattered. They've been giving everything for the last few games. All this extra time. All of these things going on." But as a player, is that true? Is it you're just exhausted? Oh, you can't bear it. You're so tired going to this game, or do you just want to be playing all the time?
Well, again, I can only go by when I played. I just wanted to be playing all the time. I don't get that. This you're tired. Not when you're winning games. You could be. I think you'd be mentally tired if you're playing these extra times. You keep losing. We're losing games left, right, and centre, but we're winning most games. So the confidence should be so high. And when your confidence is high, one thing you want to do as a player, you want to play.
Yeah.
There's no point in confidence being very high. We ain't got a game for 2-3 weeks. So for me, when I was playing well and I was in good form and the team were winning, I wanted to play as many games as possible. And I think we're in that era now where it's run by people's fitness is not run by the player. It's run by the medical staff. It's run by the fitness coaches. He could be in the red zone here. He could get injured. Well, he could not get injured. So I think it should be down to the player. I mean, Kevin, I keep going back to Keegan as I always do, but even Kenny and Keegan, it was always, how do you feel? You feel fit enough to, yeah. So I think you have to go with the player. The player knows his own body. You can't. Somebody else don't know your body as well as you do. If I don't care if he's a great fitness coach in the world, he doesn't know your body.
So can we just have a word from both of you on Kevin Keegan? Because obviously we heard the news a couple of matches ago, just before the game, that he's in a battle with cancer now. Rob, obviously, not only did you play under him, you are in regular contact with him. He is a friend of yours. How's he doing? Is he all right? And we obviously want to extend our very best wishes.
Well, listen, he was my hero. Loved having him, best manager I ever had. Yes, still do a few dinners with him and stuff like that. I'm not in contact with him constantly, but obviously I spoke to Alan. And listen, he's it's like nobody really knows, do they? That's the thing with. But all I do know is he's a fighter. You know, he always has been, always will be. You know, so we just hope he comes through it. You know, because as I say, I'll be devastated if anything else happens. But I'm sure he was known as the Mighty Mouse, so he's had bigger battles, and hopefully he'll come through it. You know.
War Flags have done the tribute for the last couple of games. We've also seen the scoreboard at St James's has put a tribute up to him as well. I'm really pleased the club have internally recognised this as well. Eddie and some of the players post-match, I think Harvey Barnes dedicated his winner a couple of games ago to Kevin Keegan. Eddie has spoken in pre- and post-match interviews about everything that Keegan has meant to him. He's going to have seen those messages, isn't he? He will be aware of what's happening at the club.
Yeah, his family make him aware, and he'll know. But you know, I've always, even before his illness, I always, you know, I can't believe. I look around at stadiums and see statues and names after stands named after people, and I still can't believe that Kevin Keegan hasn't got one at Newcastle United. I think he was the most important person that this club had in the last 40 years. You know, playing wise, gone back where they belong before he retired, came back, totally saved the club. Created this monster that he calls it of the entertainers, which got Newcastle back on the map. And since then, that, you know, we've had a few ups and downs, but that's been the what the club's been, you know. And I can't believe we there's nothing around for him, you know.
Sounds to me like you'd second that, Raul, just seeing you nodding there.
Absolutely. If you bear with me, because this might be a little, like, this might take a second. It's a little bit of a soliloquy, but I just think it is so important. I do agree that Kevin Keegan is the most important person in the club in 40 years, and you kind of have to do a bit of a dig deep into your history. Like, you have to do a deep dive into your history to realise maybe why that is if you've not lived through it. Sometimes the universe just works in mysterious ways. You had the Maiden Castle campaign that came out by NUFC at the same time as the snow fell. And then we, of course, got the tragic news. But then to win 4-3 against Leeds and then 3-3 and penalties, 26 goals, I believe, hit the net that week. He chose Maiden Castle. And he chose Maiden Castle to create this unique bond that still lives today between the community and the club, between the supporters and the players. And you still see that through things as like Sam Fender playing at St James's Park, or this young lad, Joe Bartley, who'll be playing at half-time tonight. He'll be doing the local hero. On top of that, it's mental. Like, it blows my mind, because before my lifetime to think that like, a two-time Ballon d'Or winner, a Champions League winner, a Premier League winner, one of the most famous footballers in the world, decided to join a second division club. Can you imagine if, like, when Chris Hughton was like managing the Championship Magpies, that like Lionel Messi was just like, right, I'm going to join Newcastle United. That's the equivalent of what happened. He saved us from heading down, took us back to the Premier League, then retires and leaves in his kit in a helicopter. That's the most badass thing I've ever heard in my life. And then he doesn't only do it as a player, he comes back as a manager. That's when, in my lifetime, when I didn't remember, I've had to watch the Grady VHS of you guys, Rob. He comes and does it. We could be a non-existent club. We could have disappeared off the face of the earth. We were heading to Division 3. God knows where we would have ended up. But he came back, he rescued the club, and then within a few seasons, we're challenging for the league with an Alan Shearer who was at his testimonial as a 13-year-old boy who he inspired. And that's just history for me. And what I think makes Kevin Keegan's legacy even more important and just more intrinsic to our city and what it means to be a Geordie is that you're going to love this.
Go on.
He's a bit like you, Andy.
I'm loving this.
He's not as handsome.
I've lost all interest now.
But he's an adopted Geordie, right? His parents, his dad was a Geordie and his granddad was a Geordie. They were both miners, and rescue missions in the Northeast are in their blood, because in 1909 there was a pit disaster at West Stanley Colliery, and his granddad, Frank Keegan, rescued 30 trapped miners and led them to safety. The Keegan story is one that spans Newcastle 100 years, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I sort of shed a tear at the end of the Leeds game, and I realised it's because whatever happens, obviously I'd love it. I'd love it if he beats it. I'd love it if he beats Cat, and we all want him to. We're all praying for it. But whatever happens, Kevin Keegan lives forever in so many different ways, and I think that needs to be immortalised in a tangible way by the club. Yes, there should be a statue. Now I'd go so far as to say there should be change the East Stand to the Kevin Keegan
Absolutely,
stand.
there should be a
and-
stand for sure.
And build a statue of his granddad, Big Frank,
Yeah.
in West Stanley for good measure.
Yeah.
We've dined out on the names Neville, Percy, Armstrong in the Northeast for half a millennia, but I think the Keegan name, for me, is a royal family in Newcastle as well.
Here.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
love
it.
it.
Next time, Raul, just say how you really feel, though. Yeah, 'cause I feel like you held back a little bit there, which is fine. I want to talk about this new feature that we're going to introduce, and we're going to encourage people to get involved via the socials, and when you meet Raul when he's out and about, and various other ways in the future. And we'll also, Rob, I think we'll try this with guests if it works. I hope it does. We're going to go first, worst, and favourite three. So your first memory of the club, and I'm going to include you in this as well, Rob, because I'm mindful that when you were growing up, you weren't a fan, and that's something that you might want to address with yourself when you look in the mirror someday. Your first memory of the club as a fan, your worst memory of a club as a fan, and your favourite memory. I've said favourite three. I don't know why. It's because there's a 3 on a whiteboard over there, and I've completely messed up the intro. But go with it. It's a podcast. It's not real telly. So let's get started with Raul. Actually, your first memory of Newcastle United.
Oh, it's pretty depressing. It could be contender for the worst, but it's not the worst. I think is it the '98 FA Cup final? Or was it '90? That was just the second one.
Against, was it Manchester United?
Yeah, Manchester United. Worst memory for a number. I mean, I was all dressed up the nines. It was really like the equivalent of like when England were in a World Cup. Like my mum had a shop decorated. I had a hat. I had my face painted. The brown ale shirt. I was fully kitted up, and I just kind of didn't. At that age, 5, 6, I didn't think we could lose. So when we did, it was a real heartbreak. And a funny little anecdote on that, that Manchester United side were obviously very, very good. And I had the Premier League stickers, what my parents own in a corner shop. Some stereotypes are based on the truth. And I put the Man United class of 92, I put the stickers on my window. And my older brother, good on him, he came in the room and he gave me a kicking. And he
You're going to say smash the window.
And I'd put the Newcastle stickers over the top of the Man United stickers. That's got to be worst. That's got to be first, sorry. Worst, I think, I have a real thing with trying to convert people who aren't really football fans into supporting Newcastle United.
Love that.
I'm a real proselytizer, and I've managed to get quite a few. I've got quite a few people signed on. Two of my best mates from uni, they become diehard Newcastle fans because of my passion for the club. But part of the process of that was taking them to a good 3 or 4 of the 6 in the row that we lost to Sunderland. They still loved it. They loved the bank holiday vibe. They were just like, it's a Sunday at 12 p.m. and it just feels like this is insane. I've never seen anything like it. But it has to be that 6-1 that really was a heartache for me. And then favourite 3 memories?
Well, favourite memory, the three was my stacking it, but we could make it
I
favourite
think I
3
could
memories
say,
if you like.
I think I could say 3 or directly off the top of my head. Obviously the cup wins up there, but for me, being away in Australia, it did kind of hit me a bit, and I had to let my soul.
Did you think about flying home for it? Was there a part of you which
went? I did. I think this year I might be financially in a position where if it was the final, I could. But then I spent so much money on the 23 final. And I sat in corporate. I wasn't out wearing my shirt. I was in a Greg's fleece and a Metroland t-shirt to let people around me know who I supported, but I wasn't allowed to wear colours. But I did think about it, but I wasn't really financially in a place where I felt I could afford it. This year I might, but it would be gutted to fly back and lose. Do you know what I mean? I nearly cancelled the show to go to the most recent derby, and I'm very much glad I didn't. Do you know what I mean? Turns out that money was better in the end.
We've forgiven Nick though.
Yeah. I mean, it happens, and Nick still gives us all the club, and I just love his general personality and style and his character. But I think my favourite thing for me, it always overlaps with when I was there. Do you know what I mean? Being at the ground, nothing can replace it. So for me, 4-3 against Norwich in the Championship. Okay. It was a bit like that Leeds game, but I was there. I was sat in the East Stand, and my head came clean off when Dwight Gale put that forth. I just wasn't expecting that. I was just there like, well, we've lost 3-2. About to head off soon. Well, it's been a nice day out. That's a shame. Big 6-pointer. So then when it all changed in those couple of minutes, you can't really, there's no comparison to what that does to your emotions, to your neurology. The hangover, I didn't even drink that much, but the hangover I woke up with the next day was elite. And I think it's just because of the excitement and adrenaline from those final few minutes. 5-1 against Sunderland. I was in the Gallagher, and that was just brilliant. And then I have to say the 4-1 against PSG.
Wow. Were you there?
Yeah, I was up there. And I don't think I ever recall an atmosphere quite like that.
Yeah. astonishing. But I mean, those are brilliant memories.
Yeah.
I feel like I've lived all of them with you, even though I wasn't actually with you. We were in the same place, but not quite the same. Rob, how about you? What's your first memory of Newcastle? Because you must have been aware of the club as a player, but also as a young Rob Lee growing up, little Rob.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, I was a West Ham fan growing up. That's where I was brought up. That's all my mates. We all supported the same team. Loved Liverpool because obviously Keegan played for him. Basically, he was the superstar of his day. So, but my first was when I was playing for Charlton. Where we used to come up to play against Newcastle, and I always used to score. And I always used to score here. And I just, but I looked around at the stadium, and it wasn't the stadium it is now. But I looked around the stadium. Thought, wow, this is a. And the ground was only half full. The Geordies were still mad. I mean, and we always, little Charlton used to come up here and we used to win the game. And I just realised, wow, this is quite a big club, really. Do you know what I mean? It's but it was so far north that I wouldn't go there. It's been ridiculous. I mean, it's so far north and it's so cold. I'm not going there. And that was my first, I just remember that. I thought, and I always remember, I'm never going here. And I remember John Humphrey, who I played with at Charlton. And I was sort of like what was I? Probably in my early 20s. He said, "You'd love to play here, wouldn't you?" And I said, "Well, not really. It's a long way from home, isn't it? It's sort of like, I don't think I'll ever come here." And I think it was about 18 months, 2 years later, I was playing for him. So,
We've talked before about this, and there's obviously this very well-known story about when Keegan was pitching to you. You believed that.
What are you laughing at?
This story.
It's geography.
you believed. I know you did geography at school. You believed that Middlesbrough was further north than Newcastle. That Newcastle was closer to London than Middlesbrough.
Well, can I just say, in my defence, if I've got one, my hero told me that.
Never meet your hero.
Well,
Well, lie to you.
Never meet your heroes. He wouldn't like me, would he?
But that's where I was going, Rob. That's where I was going. I don't think whether he told you that or not, it's Keegan selling you it. I mean, even if it was the furthest part of Scotland, you'd have played.
Well, he
for the
has
team,
been
wouldn't you?
embellished. What he did say, and it has been embellished a lot, and I love it because it doesn't bother me. But he did say that, listen, Newcastle's a much bigger city than Middlesbrough. There's more trains, there's more planes. I can get you back to London much quicker.
What I would argue here in the Messiah's defence is that to get a direct train from London to Newcastle, probably just about is maybe only by a few minutes quicker than getting the train to Darlow and then getting a train or a bus or a taxi to Middlesbrough.
I realise that now, and I also realised that when I signed and I drove up on the Tuesday, I went past Middlesbrough to get to Newcastle.
Just imagine you going.
I remember driving and going, says Middlesbrough there. And I still had a fair way to go.
I've gone too far. I must have missed it. I'll turn around.
Put us in the car with you, Rob. What was it? I imagine you were in a Volvo for some reason. What was it?
What was it? What did I have? I had an old BMW I had driving up the A1.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
gold seats.
Probably, being from London, obviously. And I just remember going through the A1 in those days. I remember it was 6 roundabouts to get to Newcastle. Straight line. And I just remember in the last one thinking, Middlesbrough. I'll be done here.
Love that. So your first memory's scoring against them for Charlton. Don't love that. What about your worst memory?
The worst memory was for me personally was the Ruud Gullit years. I joke and laugh about
That's a lot of memories, Rob.
Well, he wasn't here long, and thank God for that. But he was how to ruin a football club. But it was just the 18 months of sheer hell, really.
Yeah.
If I hadn't signed a contract with Kenny for 3 years, I would have been out the door. I mean, if we'd have won against Sunderland, Alan would have been out the door. It was just for me personally and for the club, I thought it was just a bad time.
I remember as a fan, it was a weird time because when he arrived, obviously I've no idea what it was like from a player's perspective. Clearly, you've intimated.
Oh, listen, when he arrived, it was sort of like it was wow. It's Ruud Gullit. He's as a player. I mean, he's one of the top players in the world, top players we've had. And so, you pick a Dutch 11 from Cruyff to all the Nieskins, he'd be in it. You know what I mean? So he'd be. So that you're thinking, well, you're excited to be managed by that, but just he didn't really. For me, he didn't really want to be at Newcastle. He didn't really know where it was, a bit like myself. And he realised it was a long way from London.
You was told it was just outside of Watford.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think he had the same geography lesson as me, but it was just a bad time. Everything was. I thought we was, if Keegan, I always say, if Keegan would have stayed on at this football club. He was here 5 years. And we just missed out on, we were 12 points clear the year before. We just missed out on winning the league. And I just thought at the time, and all the lads thought at the time, I will win it next year. And next year we signed Alan Shearer, best player in the world at the time, 15 million. Well, we'll win it this year. And by Christmas, just after Christmas, he'd gone.
Yeah,
but not for footballing reasons. That's no manager goes for non-footballing reasons, really. So we were like now we were still in every single competition. He went because of the reasons other than on the field, what was going on the field. It's all off the field. The floating of the club and stuff. And I believe if he'd have been here as long as Alex Ferguson, this club would have won something a lot quicker than we did.
It was quite a long wait, but
it was.
Didn't it feel sweet? Okay, so that's worse. The worst memory was Ruud, and your favourite?
Well, my favourite memory was us winning the cup. Genuinely, that was the favourite.
So not as a player?
No. Fans have waited so long for us to win something. I was there with my son. I was there with my grandson, and it was just an amazing day. And that genuinely is I did a lot of things for Newcastle. I played in cup finals, played in Europe, went for leagues, but never actually got there. Never actually won something.
Did you constantly feel that? Were you constantly aware we haven't delivered for these fans? We haven't got it over the line?
not delivered, because I still get people come up to me now. Wow, love the team you played in. Can you name me another team that finished second and people remember them?
Yeah.
No. So everyone.
Well, at the moment it's Arsenal because they always finish second.
Well, exactly. So. They might be third. So the way that we played football, everybody loved, and I loved playing football like that. So I don't think. I think even now, sometimes this team, I think maybe gets compared to our team. And the people that remember our team, obviously not you, but people.
He will let it go, right? It just a couple more digs.
When you're in Australia,
he's over it.
I think people remember they get compared.
Well,
unfairly.
what was it like meeting your hero? Well, turns out.
I think they get compared unfairly with our team because it was an exciting team, different time to play football in, but it was people loved watching, and I think the fans loved watching the way we played. Yeah, we didn't win nothing, but. I would hate to have won a league. Genuinely, I wouldn't have wanted to win a league and play boring football because that wasn't what I wanted to do as a kid.
Like the Arsenal of the 80s.
Yes. And listen, I've got nothing against what they've done. They won trophies, but I honestly, the 5 years I had in Keegan, if you'd have asked me as a kid, how do you want to play football, professional football for a top team in going for leagues and cups, how would you want to play? I would want to play like that.
I mean, that's a pin drop moment, isn't it?
It is, but
a little bit.
I think
he's
right. Sorry,
No,
I think you're totally right. I was gonna. I feel like we're at odds, Rob. I was just about to fully reinforce what you were saying. I think that ties back into Keegan, and it ties back into you ask fans abroad why they support Man United. It's a boring answer. They've won the most cups. The question you asked at the start is why do you support Newcastle? But when I talk to people from abroad, it's the most ridiculous stories. It's like the party you had, but a lot of people fell in love with the style we played in the 90s and that entertainers aspect and the interesting, the romance. The art of football, the story is really rooted in the team Rob played for. See, I wasn't going to be mean.
Nah, exactly. See, we're getting all right.
Yes, I'm relieved. I feel like, a bit more like Jeremy Kyle here. Don't think we'll need to do a DNA test, though. Anything's possible. We're going to try a new feature, and this is obviously a lot of people want to know what it's really like being a footballer, what their life is like during the game and after the game and so on. And it's been a joy and a privilege getting to know Rob for the last however many months. It's been a long time. We're into the years at this stage, aren't we?
Longer, I know that.
It is a genuine joy. We've got up to quite a lot of mischief together. But one thing that I discovered recently about Rob, and he doesn't like to talk about it much, is that Rob has made a discovery. He's found this thing called the internet. And he's been telling me quite a lot about it. He's got this amazing dial-up connection at home, and he even does an impression of that as he dials up as he logs on. And he's discovered something called Reddit. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of Reddit before, but Rob has asked to do a feature on the show called Robbed from Reddit, where he's spent a bit of time every week on the Newcastle United Reddit forum, and he's picked out topics that you guys are talking about. And Rob's even brought his own scrapbook from school, where he's been keeping notes of what people have been writing in Reddit. And Rob, your first one, actually, interestingly, that you flagged to me the other day was about yourself. What are the
My
chances?
favourite
there?
subject.
And the Reddit thread, curiously, was someone had written that Rob Lee is the best pound-for-pound midfielder to have ever played for the club in their lifetime. And Rob, you wanted to talk about that.
Well, you know me, I love talking about myself. Pound for pound is a thing that Keegan says and Sir John Hall says a lot. And I always, does that mean I was the cheapest?
or the heaviest?
Yeah, well, I think you get 12 Rob Lees for an Alan Shearer, I think. I worked it out.
Whoa.
There's no way he's 12 times better than me. Yeah, listen, I think it was, Keegan always says it, Sir John Hall always says it. I think I was value for money, I think. And I think I played in an era where, 700 grand at the time was actually quite a lot of money. I think it was Sir John Hall's money, I think. So he tells me.
I mean, I think I spent most of that in Metroland, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. So it's still a fair bit. It's still a fair bit of money. I think when you compare it now, it's they always say, "What would you be worth now?" And it's an impossible question. So yeah, I listen. I'm genuinely pleased that I cost 700 grand, and no one says I was a waste of money.
Yeah, quite. You're safe there. I mean, for those of you that have spent time on Reddit, Rob will be kind of checking you out over the next few coming weeks and months. But it is fair to say that Reddit agrees almost wholeheartedly that Rob is the best midfielder to have played for the club. Raul, you want to back me up on that, because I think it's probably correct as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as we've reinforced throughout the podcast, I don't really remember.
Don't tell Rob those.
When people sort of ask me who my favourite midfielder is, obviously Bruno's up there, and Gary Speed, like. Yeah. Coming back to what Rob was saying, I always felt he did Shearer's job. He was consistent every single game in midfield, but you get underappreciated when you're back holding there sometimes compared to when you're a goal scorer, because goals is what makes the game go round. But I tell this to the older heads, and no, Rob Lee, bar none. It's always Rob.
There you go.
There you go.
The older heads. The older heads are right.
I'm delighted with that, honestly.
I said it was the older heads, not me.
So this is Rob from Reddit. We're going to be doing it regularly. You're going to keep logging on, aren't you? And choosing.
Definitely will.
Choosing
Yeah,
to talk
definitely.
about.
If I can still work it out, yeah, without a doubt.
So in a few minutes' time, we're going to be checking in with another new member of the team. And before you ask, yes, Ryan Taylor will be back later in the season. He's busy training some under-21s right now, but he's very keen to stay involved with us and continue his, what I consider to be slightly outspoken feelings about the club versus Rob. The two of you rarely see eye to eye, which is why I love it when it happens. So we will be getting Ryan on again soon. But we do have another member of the team alongside the magnificent, resplendent Raul Kohli, who is a mainstay with us. We also have another captain that is joining the team. In fact, we have that now, the ability to say we are the only Newcastle United podcast with two captains and a couple of super fans. Amber-Keegan Stobbs, the former captain of the Lasses, now playing for Durham, is going to be joining us on the regular. However, as we speak right now, she's currently landing from flying in from Australia. So we're going to try and check in with her when she gets in a minicab shortly, just to get her view, and then moving forward she'll be a bit more available. However, another feature we want to introduce you to is, and this is something that I'm loving and hoping that you will be able to start bringing to some of your fans that you're meeting abroad, Raul, is something that you have written to us about during the first season. Am I a fan if? Sometimes we get this, and I occasionally get this. My sons get this a lot from their mates at school and so on. Am I a fan if I've never been to St James's Park? I've only started supporting the team since the takeover, and so on. We get these questions, and we'd love to hear what you consider to be a requirement of fandom. Rob, what's your opinion? Are you a fan of Newcastle United? What qualifies you as being a fan of the club? What do you have to do to be able to call yourself an adopted Geordie or just a Newcastle United fan?
Oh, listen, more supporters we get, the better it is, in my opinion. So you just have to support Newcastle United. I was not a Newcastle fan, as everybody knows, but playing for the club for 10 years, still been involved with the club now, all these years later, still going back to the city. I consider myself a Newcastle fan. And my sons, one was born up there, Elliot was born up there, Ollie went up when he was 14 months. My daughter was born there. They're Newcastle fans, and my grandson now is a Newcastle fan. That's his Newcastle kit, and so we're spreading the word down south. Don't you worry about that. And there's a there's more Newcastle kits around there than you would think.
There are. One of my favourite things is meeting Geordies or adopted Geordies in the most random places around the world. I don't know if you spot it. You know when you're kind of after something, like if you're thinking of you're going to buy a Prius, for example, you suddenly start noticing Priuses everywhere, whereas you hadn't beforehand. I don't know if I just spot Newcastle fans everywhere because I'm already tuned into that frequency, or whether they are just everywhere. Raul, as an actual Geordie, the only bona fide Geordie, kind of born and bred, how do you feel about us imposter fans to the club? Are you comfortable with it?
No, I reiterate what you both say. I'm very comfortable with it. I think for PSR particularly, it's very important that we expand our global fan base. When I was in Thailand, I noticed a lot of shirts there, really good shirts as well. I remember one particular, I was walking in a park in Bangkok and I saw a McEwen's lager, black and white, and I thought, how's Asics? And I walked up and I was like, mate, how have you got that? And he didn't speak English and he was scared by me and he ran away. But I was just like, I think there's no prerequisite as long as you sort of follow the team. And as long as, like, if you do visit the city, you respect the sort of local culture and the history that comes before. But I don't think you have to have as in-depth a knowledge as I do to really get behind the team. I mean, particularly, of course, when, you know, I consider I come from Indian heritage. My ancestry doesn't go all the way back to the Neo-Mesolithic period of 400 BC in Newcastle or whatever. But when my parents, my uncle decided to start following that club, for the most part, they were welcomed with open arms. So I just think there's no prerequisite as long as you follow the team and you feel some way about the results.
I'm so excited about hanging out with Raul, Rob, because I'm going to learn so many big words from now on. I have no idea about anything you just said, but it sounded amazing. So I'm here for it. But it's I mean, it's something that this podcast is all about. We talk about it. It's global hospitality with Geordie heart. I can't call myself a Geordie. I wish I could. My parents are, my grandparents are, but I wasn't technically born there, so I'm not technically a Geordie. But I have felt like a Geordie, or at least a London Southern Geordie, since as long as I can remember. And I've had the struggle of growing up without any other fans around me. I've, you know, been surrounded by the fair weather fans from Newcastle, from Manchester or wherever. And you always have to justify why. But if you have a loyalty for the team, my feeling about fandom, am I a fan? If you give a stuff, if you care a jot about Newcastle, you don't necessarily have to name the starting 11 from 1996 to be a fan.
It helps.
All right, Rob is going to be slightly harder on the rest of us. So you just have to know that Rob was in the team, and then I think you're all right. So long as you know Rob's playing years, that's probably the key qualifier.
Definitely, that's
right?
a qualifier, that for me.
But if you have any queries about are you a fan, bring them to us, and we will hopefully put your mind at ease, because my feeling is if you give us stuff about the club, then you're a fan. I don't care where you were born, what your accent is, and how many players you can name. If you love the team, you're welcome.
Can I just say two quick things on that? I mean, you've got Geordie blood, but you were London born in the same way that I have Indian blood, but I was Newcastle born. And so I don't think it does. I think you are a Geordie as far as I'm concerned. You're a Geordie by blood, at least. And number two, I think the only actually prerequisite I have is you can't abandon us if times get hard. Because we sat through it all. If we don't have a trophy, if we don't have a rich takeover, you still have to support the club. I think that's the important thing.
That was the hardest time of my fatherhood, actually, I hate to do this, but it was the Steve Bruce era, right? And bearing in mind, I've got sons that are really quite young and a little bit older. I've got 3 boys, and they have been born into the team, the club. The first things they've ever received, they were put in baby grows before they left the hospital. They've been black and white from the beginning. During that Steve Bruce era, where we were playing the most appalling, diabolical, hard-to-stomach, gutless, thoughtless football I have ever watched in my time as a fan, I felt like the worst dad ever, because I didn't give them an option to change teams. I explained to them that this is what supporting was. And bearing in mind, some of them were like this big when I was saying it, and I felt really genuinely cruel. But at no point was it an option that they could just choose Manchester City for the easy life, because that's not what supporting is about. You have to go through. And thank goodness, because then the takeover happened and Eddie arrived and it's been glorious ever since. We're going to have ups and downs, but that's part and parcel of it. If you can't take the highs, why should you have the lows? You've got to have the lows to appreciate the highs. That's my
Well
view.
said.
Well said.
And they're still Newcastle fans now.
Yeah.
Because you know what kids are like. They can change quick, can't they?
Well, they don't have a lot of choice. I mean, it's slightly awkward when your dad does a podcast about the club. You know, it would be weird if they
What
started.
about your missus, though?
Well, do you know what? She's coming up to the next game. She's been up 3 times. She came up to the last time she came up with me, and this kind of put her off, was, I don't know if you remember this, Raul. You probably won't be in tune with this one, Rob, although you might be. It was when there was a protest march against Sam Allardyce. Do you remember that?
Oh, I was about 16, 17, so I have a rough memory of it. Yeah.
There was a walkout. So my Mrs. Blesser had surprised me with tickets to this game. Not realising there was going to be big old protest against Allardyce because he hadn't landed quite well with the fans and so on. And yeah, so she came up for that. That was the last time I got her
Did you
up.
walk out?
We walked at the end. There was a bit of a sort of, chant and a
that's the thing.
walkabout and.
Geordies rarely walk
Yeah,
out.
you had
do
to.
they?
Everyone
Geordies
stayed
just
for the whole game.
No, they all say
about two
that was the thing.
occasions.
Yeah, I mean, we've done at West Ham. If there's a walkout, there's a walkout. You know what I mean? But Geordies are sort of like, 1,000 might
You still
go.
want to see the game.
There's still 51,000. Oh, we're not quite. We're not going to go. We still want to watch watch our team.
But that's it. Yeah, otherwise, what's the point?
That's what makes
you've got
them
to see the
great.
game,
That's
right?
what makes them. They love the club.
Got to see the game. You've got to see the game. So no, that was the last time she came up, but she's coming up later in January because my middle son is going to be a mascot for the Aston Villa game. So yeah, she's coming up to see that.
Oh,
which
you
is
must
gonna
be buzzing.
Absolutely so mad. No connections from the club have made this happen. It's just through the ballot for mascots.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
delighted.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right,
No, legit, mate. That's honestly, I'd be coming to you if it was. You know it because you didn't make it happen.
I know.
Yeah. No. So that's it. That's it. She's going to be coming up really, really soon, and I think she does watch some of the games with us. So on the telly. So yeah, hopefully.
Could have been worse. Can you imagine booking like a romantic getaway? You know, your partner's a Newcastle fan, and then it's that Sunderland game where the man punches the horse.
Still loves that he did that. We'll never live it down. We'll never be more proud. Another feature we're going to bring to you is, and we've been talking to Raul about this, we've been referencing this, and it is the far-flung fan, which is not easy to say, so I had to think about that before I said it. But Raul, you are going to be our far-flung fan master. You're going to be seeking out on your travels, you're going to be seeking out Geordies high and low, and basically, if you are anywhere and you spot this handsome face, go and say hi to him. We'd love to hear from you. We'd also love to hear from you on our Instagram, on TikTok and so on. We'd just like to hear where you're supporting the club from, whether you're a new fan, whether you've been a fan forever, whether you remember Rob playing or aren't entirely sure who he is. You are welcome. We'd love to hear where it is you're watching. And I'm talking about whether you're watching in Brighton or London or Sunderland and you're still supporting Newcastle.
I'm not going there.
Come tell us.
No shows
Come
there,
share
eh?
your stories. Far-flung fans, wherever you are, we'd love to hear from you. And if we can get Raul to you, even better. I love that we're kind of trying to make out that we're sending you off when actually we're just making the most of the fact that you're going out.
I travel a lot, this year. Obviously, I've already got Australia. I'm going to Berlin and Austria, so any fans there, please do get in touch. I'll definitely be going to the Netherlands again. I've got good relations with the Toon Army Netherlands. Very excited to get them interviewed.
I imagine there'll be some Geordies in Berlin,
Yeah, probably, but I've not found any yet. I've looked in a lot of places. I mean, last year I travelled a lot. I did a huge European tour all around the continent. And I looked far and wide. Slovakia, I found one. I found one in Slovakia, and I was buzzing about that. None in Iceland, which I was gutted about.
Wow.
Because the team I went to follow that were they're called FC Reykjavik, and they played in black and white. And there's a clip on my Instagram. I go to a bar and I'd be like, is anyone because, you guys play in black and white, has anyone maybe decided to support Newcastle? The guy's like, no, actually a lot of fans here support Juventus, but nobody gives a shit about Newcastle.
Yeah, that's going to change.
But if you're an Icelandic mag, if you're a mag anywhere in the world, I will try and book a show and come to you, get an interview with you, and we'll hopefully get you on the pod.
That'd be brilliant. Yeah, we want to hear from you. Far-flung fans, wherever you are, we want to hear from you. As you know, we mentioned it earlier as well, we are expanding our team here on Adopted Geordies. We have the marvellous Raul Kohli as a mainstay, and we have another captain who is joining our lineup. Yes, it won't be only Rob that can say he's captained the side. We also have the brilliant Amber-Keegan Stobbs, captain of the Lasses as of up to last season. And I'll tell you what, she has just flown over the world. Yeah, this time... Earlier, she was in Australia. She's just landed in the UK. She's exhausted, and yet she's still going to have a chat to us. Let's check in with the other member of the Adopted Geordies team. It's Amber-Keegan Stobbs.
This makes coming back to England a little bit better. I haven't hit holiday blues yet. I mean, I've been in the country for an hour, but what a way to start.
Love it. So just like you, just like Rob, the two of you know what it's like to lead the team out in front of a packed house at St James's Park. Is it the most special feeling in the world, Amber?
Yeah, definitely. It was an emotional few times I did it. The first time I did it, I remember everyone was like, the camera's going to be on you. And honestly, every picture I was just crying. I was like, couldn't even hold it together. It was amazing. Like a dream to do, I guess, lead the team out, playing black and white at St James's Park. And we had some big crowds there when I was playing there. So it was really, really good.
Brilliant. And now, obviously, you play for Durham, but you are also commentating for many of the games. So you're still a regular at St James's Park, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah, we're having a family discussion on who goes to the game tonight, actually. Um, so we've got a ticket for the game tonight, but I think I'm going to hand it over to my dad since he's the reason I'm a Geordie. So yeah, I go to the games when I can, and it fits in well with my training schedule. Obviously, we miss some of the games when I have games, but I still go all the time.
You're going to be like ships that pass in the night with Raul because you've literally just come back from Australia. By the time this goes out, he will be in Australia. So it's like you've kind of passed through the airwaves. But Amber, just talk to us about your passion for the team because obviously we can justify why you're on the podcast because you were captain of the Lasses, but actually you're a lifelong Newcastle United fan.
Yeah, of course. I think the evidence is in the name, obviously having, which is probably some people are bored of hearing. But my first name's Amber-Keegan after Kevin Keegan, born in '92. My dad's a proper Geordie. So kind of, I mean, I just went on a family holiday to Australia, and the gang was getting up at any silly hour in the morning or the middle of the night to watch the games. My brother lives there and he doesn't miss one. So there was times 4 a.m. alarms going off. He's watching the games, and they've just had a kid, so he's fitting fitting it all in. I don't know
He's
how.
probably up anyway if he's just had a kid. It's just,
Well,
I mean,
it's
it'd be.
very intense.
I used to soothe my little ones by watching It's Only Sunny in Philadelphia. If I could have got up to watch Newcastle United playing, then I would have kept them awake. That would have been
Yeah.
brilliant. Rob, I'm sensing the seal of approval that Amber's done the night shift supporting the club from you. You sort of gave this sage like almost Gandalf-esque nod in the corner of my vision.
Well, no, it's when she still does. She was born in '92. Yeah, that's when I joined. So that made me feel really old again.
She was watching on VHS on the YouTubes with me.
No, you be quiet. You.
Oh, no.
She's younger than you.
So Amber, you caught all the games that happened basically from Christmas to mid-January in Australia. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I missed one. Missed one. Had some celebrations before it, so I just
Big
missed
night
one.
at the Newcastle Brown Male, eh?
No, not me.
Now she's in pre-season training or mid-season training.
Mid-season
Is it?
training, come back from
Yeah.
injury, so it wasn't for partying. It was just for living a good life. But
When,
yeah,
when did it start again? When did it start?
we're back in.
When's your first game?
So actually, we had a game that was supposed to be on Sunday, but it got snowed off.
Oh, you're lucky then.
Very disappointing, obviously. But yeah, so technically, I haven't missed the game.
So
But
you kept training out there then, okay?
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Me,
of course, yeah. Kept
non-stop.
out
That's why I
kept
missed the
running.
game. I missed the game because I was out running.
Amber, let's talk about the tune because you are a lifelong fan, as we've established. A feature that we're introducing that we'll be talking to guests with, but we used it on Raul earlier. We used it on Rob as well. So I'm going to throw it in your direction as well, which is its first, worst, and favourite three. Your first memory of Newcastle United, your worst memory of Newcastle United, and your favourite three memories of supporting this mad, wonderful club of ours.
Okay. First was actually going to a game at St James's Park. I was 7. Probably would have been playing, I believe.
Yeah, that's why I love her. She knows.
I'll say it more, and it's actually a legend way. Do you know what I mean? It's an honour. Like I'm talking to.
I know. You should sit as their row. Honestly, it's been
No.
paining me all this.
No, not at all. It was my first ever game, and we beat Villa 2-1 in 1999, I believe. My dad. This is what my dad's like. So we went up to be sitting in the K section at St James's Park, and I was there like, oh, okay. My dad went, "Do you know why we're sitting here?" I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Keegan," and properly just pulled out of the bag. I was like, "Oh my god, they know I'm here." All this sort of stuff. No idea. We just made everything so dreamy about my middle name and my Geordie upbringing. But yeah, that was the best. That's the first. Sorry. What do you say?
First, yep.
Last
Worst.
one?
Worst and then your favourite three. Yeah. So we'll get the worst out of the way. Worst memory of supporting the club.
It's really hard to look past losing. I know that's not sporting because I was playing, but losing the final of the
Against
the
hashtag United.
League Cup final against Hampshire. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to think. Actually, really, another one that was tough is my first derby. I went to derby as a teenager at St James's Park, and it was end to end 0-0, and then we lost Sunderland 1-0 in like the 90th minute. I think
Didn't hear that bit,
Don't
Amber.
mention
Sorry,
that.
I didn't hear that. But it sounds like a rough memory. And your favourite 3 memories of the club so far, because that's the beautiful thing, is there'll be new memories as we keep going.
Cup final,
Brilliant, of course.
obviously. Leading the team out, I suppose.
Just saying that like it's a thing, I suppose. Of course you're allowed to have that as a memory.
Yeah, but
That's
I'm a little
amazing.
bit confused because of obviously, well, I'd say signing, but then I'm saying that's like as a player, not a fan. You know, so
Yeah, fair.
that's where I sound a bit. Just honestly, as a kid, going to St James's Park was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So my first one would have been my best one as well. You know the film Purely Belter?
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
You know
Played
when he
my son
tells
now.
that story of his dad and he's like walked up the stairs, like looked at the same, he was like
A
2
cup of
teas
tea.
dead milky. I relived that story as if it's like mine, but it's to that first game.
I was around when they were filming that.
You
was.
doing yourself over here?
They wanted. I know. I keep doing myself.
Rob was there on the Doomsday Scroll, and
They were actually-
he was part of the Excalibur
they were filming
moment.
some
It's actually in the
scene
first
with,
season of Our Feeders Own Pet.
They were filming a scene with Alan. Alan was in it, and they said, "Oh, do all the lads want to get in it?" And everyone went, "No."
Well, and they
you
nick
know,
his car, don't they?
Yeah, they nicked his car. Yeah, and he's playing Celine Dion or something in the car.
That
Which,
was your.
by the way, it's true. He used to play Celine
Did
Dion.
he?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh dear.
That was true.
We've just lost a viewer.
That was in his car.
Shearer's just unsubscribed. Fucking Rob. Boom. Off it goes.
Terrible film. Terrible film.
Amber, let's talk about the season so far for you. We've kind of done our own little review of where we think the team is at and the results that have followed so far. Just summarise where your head's at with how the team's doing. How happy are you? How frustrated are you? Where do you think we're doing? What's good? What's bad? What are you happy with?
I think this is where I'm gonna have to learn to voice my opinion a bit more on this stuff. But I don't know, like it's almost like I get that been that season where we're back in Champions League, so it's a bit tougher than what everybody expects with the schedule. I know it's like an excuse that everybody leans on and the depth of the squad, and then we've had injuries. But in my head all the time, it's like, but even as I'm saying it, I'm like, that's football. Like, it's not great. It's not great as a fan, but like that's football. And I think when people like even going to games and hearing all the chat around you, it like for me, I'm like, steady on, guys. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. And then I'm buzzing to land back in England and we're sitting 6th. So I think recent form's obviously been a bit better, and I think like we've had some team members do some shifts in different positions, and I think it just kind of getting back to maybe that pulling results out when I think earlier on in the season we weren't, or we were leading and then dropping points and thinking, why are we not holding on to the lead and stuff, even though it would be nice as a fan to have simpler, more enjoyable games, I suppose. But then sometimes when a game is like that and there's a last minute winner, you also can't beat that buzz. It's like really confusing. But all I'm buzzing about is that we're sitting 6th.
Amber, I'm so chuffed and delighted that you came here through sheer fatigue and exhaustion.
I regret it now, but
Yeah. We'll see you properly next time in person when we'll have a proper catch up. But thank you for making sure that you were just part of this first episode back. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Cheers.
We'll see you soon.
I'll go. I'll leave you to it.
Thanks,
Enjoy your
Amber.
shower.
Yeah, take care.
Well, that's sort of almost it for this maiden episode of the new season of Adopted Geordies. Now Voltamanda and Wissa have actually played together and Rob has said we can come back. However, just before we go, we want to introduce our final format point of the show, Tune Up, Tune Down, where we get whoever is sitting around us to share what they think is going well at the club and what's maybe has some room for improvement. For me personally, I would say a tune down would be, why aren't we active in the transfer market yet? It would be really nice if we could be, please, because the window is open. Tune up, however, is so many good things going on. We are a team that tries, and I love the lot of them. Raul, tune up, tune down. What are you loving? What are you concerned about?
For all the talk of chaos, I think this has actually been a really steady season. I think behind the scenes, a lot of work going on. Sort of steady the ship must have been quite a chaotic time period. What with, that man, the rat.
Don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he
No
left.
idea.
Getting the sporting director in, and we're really looking at a lot of areas that have been up and down. But a takeover in the initial stages is volatile, and I think we're really steadying that ship. Where next season we are going to be very, very, very excited, and I think it's going to be a big, big season for us.
I like that. And your tune down. So your tune up is just generally, it's actually going way better than people are saying.
Tune down. A couple of things, just small things. Number one, is too many releases. I'm like a crackhead. I've got a problem. I've bought
Merch. You're talking about merch. Your
Too
tune down is merch.
My bank account looks like Sheffield Wednesdays, man. I've never used Klarna so much. I've bought the special ones. I bought the terrace icons. Now they've got the 95 to 96. I want to look like Rob. And it's prime, and I always was a collector. That's just too much. We need a breather. It's been 3 big releases in 6 months. I am bankrupt. Newcastle United, please just stop for the love of God. As well, I feel like just a little thing, but when the takeover first happened, it was obviously want to expand globally and do things like that, but there was a lot of community action, which I really appreciate. Still is, Joe Bartley's playing tonight. I'm very excited about it. He's a young lad who's always bust outside of St. James's doing local hero, and I love seeing stuff like that. But I'd like to see a bit more action within the city in terms of food banks, this kind of stuff, and helping maybe some of the more marginalised in the community, because as the club in the city expands, it is going to get pricier. And I think it's still a working class city, and the working class people deserve to be able to go to games and have a connection to their club, regardless of PSL.
Mate, I love that. Brilliantly put. And I actually feel awkward that I now have to throw to Rob, who has to follow that somehow. Because that should be the last word on the
as
pod,
usual.
because you said it beautifully. However, Captain, it's over to you. Tune up, tune down. Let's start with your downs and then go up.
Down.
Yeah.
Well, the down is related a little bit. I'd like us to get past this. What's happened with the ground, the training ground?
Right.
It seems to have gone on forever. Are we going to a new ground? Are we going to? Someone needs to make a decision of
Some executive answers. That's what you're looking for.
It's been going on. I mean, when I first joined United too, they were talking about training grounds, and I didn't get one in 10 years that we owned. We've actually got one now, but if you go to Spurs, you go to Man United, Man City, their training grounds are way beyond ours. If we want to be one of these top teams, which we do and we should be with the fans we got, we need a new training ground, and the ground we've been talking about for seems like ever since we got taken over, and we're still no nearer to. Are we going to redevelop St James's Park, or are we going to move? If we move, are we moving a few hundred yards away, or are we moving down to
Middlesbrough?
Yeah, which is further north, isn't it?
And the tune up.
Listen, is it controversial? I just think the way we're playing. Everyone will be like, oh, God, no, we don't want to let this many goals in. But as long as we score more than them. I honestly, the games that I've watched recently, it's been exciting. No one leaves. You watch games in the Premier League and the team are 2-0 down or losing and everyone's leaving. And can't leave a game at St James's Park at the minute.
No.
There's going to be goals. I'd like to see us, Wissa and it means changing our system a little bit, which Eddie don't do.
Well, he's trying.
Yeah, so I'd like to see us play 2 up front. I would. I think we'd score goals. I think we'd score a lot of goals. We've got midfield players that can cope with it. So I don't see why we can't adjust it a little bit and keep seeing goals, excitement. That's what I want.
I love it. Thank you, Rob. Brilliant. Rob, Raul, and Amber earlier as well. Thank you all so much for your company. I've really appreciated it. Most of all, thank you to you for choosing Adopted Geordies. If we could encourage you to make us your favourite Newcastle United podcast, that would be amazing. Please like, please subscribe. Please do get involved with us across the socials, Instagram, TikTok. We're kind of on Twitter, but we sort of avoid it, if I'm completely honest with you. So Instagram and TikTok will be your main 2 for us. Plus, of course, Rob will be scouring Reddit and checking out exactly what you guys are saying about the team so that he can bring his Robbed from Reddit to us next time out. We will be back very soon. We'll have a Dan Burn exclusive to share with you in no time, and we can't wait to go on this adventure with you. Away the lads.